Hey guys, so got 5 people that just jumped on 6, so say hello. It's not telling me who anyone is, so say hello and where you are in the world. Hey Sally, how you going? Who else is on? Give me a comment or a like or a love. Hey Laura, how are you? So it is like just after 8 a.m. and it's almost 30 degrees already. I'm going out for a walk, but I love this weather, especially after 2 months in cold Europe. So it's beautiful. It's supposed to get up to 39 today, and I'm going to have a family day at the beach today. So what I wanted to talk about, when I woke up this morning, I had some time where I would just sit still. I went upstairs and I just sat still, meditated, only for a few minutes actually, because then I have all these ideas buzzing through my head. And I listened to my intuition and what I want and what I needed. Hey Scott, how you going? Hey Tina. So this morning my intuition told me that I wanted to go for a walk, and I haven't done a morning walk for a while. I've done some afternoon walks since I got back, but this is why I'm out of breath. I'm not sick anymore, but I can still feel my lungs aren't working properly, and fitness as well, obviously. But anyway, the hardest thing obviously is just getting your clothes on, getting ready and getting out the door. But I could have pushed that down. I could have said, oh no, I've got work to do, or I should be productive before we go out today and get organised for the week. But my mind and my body was telling me that I needed a walk and needed some time out for myself. So I listened to it instead of pushing it down. And most of the time in life, I found that people medicate themselves and they push these things down that they actually want. And one of the other things that's been popping up for me lately as well is that I want to do more learning and more reading. So I went upstairs to grab some books this morning, took them down into my bedroom so that I actually read them instead of putting that off as well. So it's like, it can be little things like that. It can be little things like going for a walk or eating fruit or reading a book or whatever. But I say these are little things, and actually they're really not, because these little things add up. And if we don't, for example, listen to that intuition of eating well, hey Tanya, how you going? If we don't listen to that intuition of eating well, or like, oh, I really feel like some fruit right now. Whoop. Have a look what I'm walking down. It's like, oops. So just had a little slip there. Whoops, let me turn that back around. So if we don't listen to these things, then that accumulates into lots of bad eating patterns, yeah? When you feel like some fruit or some vegetables or some protein or some water, or going out and going walking, and you don't do that, then that equals like no exercise and laziness and being in front of a screen all the time or being at home all the time. It means not getting out and spending time on yourself. Hey Chad, how you going? And it also means poor food choices, which then lead to weight gain, which lead to bad health, which leads to sickness and disease and injuries as well, not from food but from no exercise and things like that, okay? So these, even though these things feel little, they add up. Wow, look at this. It's massive. So they all add up. And what someone told me once, an old mindset coach of mine, is that we have these two sides of ourselves. So we have imagine these two voices, yeah? God, my face is red. We have these two voices, and one of them is the doing and one is the being, okay? And the doing side of us is like, I just got to be busy. I've got to get more done. I've got to, Laura, I think it was like termites or something. Let me find some snakes and spiders for you, Laura. Hey, Lisa, how you going? And I haven't seen any wallabies yet this morning. But there were some kookaburras before. I just filmed them on my Snapchat. So if you're just listening to the doing all the time, you're going to be constantly busy. You're going to be stressed out, overwhelmed, and you're going to be like push, 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 this hustle mentality all the time. And the other side, the intuition, is like, it's when you're actually being instead of doing, when you're sitting still and just being, like when you're meditating, or, you know, that time in the morning when you've just woken up, or just before you go to bed at night, and all these thoughts run through your head. And things will pop up, like, really feel like going for a walk in the morning, or my body just really needs some more water, yeah? Or it might be bigger things like, wow, my purpose is to be able to, hey James, how you going? Thank you. Or it might be something like a big thing, yeah? Like, wow, I've just realized my purpose is to be able to help empower people to become the best version of themselves, and I need to work on having balance in all areas of my life and continue learning and growing so that I can continue being the best version of myself. These kinds of thoughts, yeah? And when we push this down, we don't listen to them and we're just stuck in the doing all the time, we end up being unhealthy. We end up being too busy. We end up getting overwhelmed and stressed and anxious. We end up gaining weight. We end up going to drugs or alcohol or sex or binge watching Netflix or procrastinating on Facebook to kind of put a band-aid on and medicate ourselves from what we really want in life. And the reason I feel that people do this is because when you listen to that voice, first of all, you got to take action, yeah? It's like, oh, this has come up. I can either push it down or I can listen to it. And listening to it is scary, because what happens when you grow is you bring up shit from the past. You have to work on yourself. You have to grow. You have to deal with emotions. If you're not pushing the emotions down anymore, they actually come up and you actually have to feel them. You have to feel sadness or anger or frustration or pissed off or hurt. Yeah? And most people don't want to do that. So they push it down with all those things that I mentioned before, numb it out, numb the pain, or also not even pain, they're numbing their happiness. They're numbing clarity and true purpose, and they're numbing their goals and desires and the things that they really want in life. And this is why I think as well that so many people get stuck in a job that they hate, in a relationship that's not great, having shit going on with family members, unable to express themselves. That's in the throat. If you find that you get a lot of colds and tonsillitis and things like that, that's that you're not expressing yourself. And what else? Like in debt, yeah, no money, not able to manage their money. All these things are going on. And most people are, well, they're not happy, but I say happy as in like they're happy just staying the same. That's more comfortable than actually changing and doing something about it. You know, I was talking to one of the mums at school when I picked my daughter up the other day whilst the kids were running around playing. And I was talking to two of them actually, and one of them, I'd only just met her. And I was talking a little bit about what I did because they were asking questions, what I do. And one of them said, actually her friend said, you'd be really great at doing nutrition coaching. And she said, And apparently she's like this amazing person with nutrition, like she knows a lot about it. And she said, oh, but it's too saturated now. There's too many people doing that. And I said, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many people are doing it. You are different to them. Yeah? There's so many business coaches. There's so many fitness coaches, PTs. There's so many life coaches. There's so many different people doing the same thing. But using nutrition as an example, if everyone's nutrition was sorted, there would be no obesity. There would be no one struggling with gut issues. There would be no one who is unhealthy or sick. No one who's like dying of disease and things like that. So obviously we need more people to do it. Yeah. When I first started as a personal trainer 6 years ago, that was my first business. My dad told me, oh, it's too saturated. You shouldn't study PT. There's too many people doing it. That didn't make me stop. That pushed me on. That made me go, well, watch me. Yeah. And I created a $200,000 business in under 2 years. Because no matter how many people there are doing what you want to do or what you are doing, there's only one of you. And so you're going to bring a different approach and you're going to be able to help people with your unique personality and wisdom. And, you know, people don't need more information anyway. Yes, information and strategy and knowledge is part of it, but it's only a really small part of it. What people need is accountability and support and to be part of a community and to actually kick them up the arse and take action. Because if people know everything there is to know about nutrition, or even if they have a basic understanding, they're not fucking doing it. Yeah, I could say that I know about nutrition and I know quite a lot about nutrition and exercise, but it doesn't mean that I'm motivated to eat well and exercise all the time. And so I don't have a PT at the moment, but I had a powerlifting coach for 3 years because I was competing, and I'm not at the moment, but I have a nutrition coach at the moment because I'm working on my gut health because I've been in serious pain with it for over a year. And so I'm working on that and spending this year getting my gut healthy, losing about 15 kilos, which I've lost 4 already, and getting myself healthy. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to say on that. Now, and guys, if you have any comments or questions through this, just pop them in the chat box. Let me know if that makes sense and what you got out of that. Now, the next thing that I wanted to move on to is growth. And I've touched on it, obviously, in what we've been talking about. But, I'm walking up a hill. But with growth, so, hey, Bummy, how you going? Anytime that I am growing and really stepping up to that next level, and I know some people hate that term, but it's exactly what's happening, yeah? So anytime that that's going on for me, I feel a bit uneasy, a bit unsettled, a bit like I'm lacking clarity. Old limiting beliefs come up, old shit comes up. I might snap at my partner. I might feel like I need time out for myself. Let me just show you what I'm walking up here. This is why and my lungs still aren't working properly as well. Whew. Okay. So, this kind of stuff comes up and I might be like, why am I worrying about self-worth again? Why am I feeling unhappy? Why am I feeling like a lack of confidence or that I'm not good enough? And it's like, oh, I thought I dealt with that already. And I did. But the thing is, every time you grow, these things will come up again. And it's not that you haven't dealt with it, it's that you're just peeling off another layer. You're digging deeper, and it's like, it's relating to this new thing. If you're already making 10 grand a month and you want to step up to 20 grand, and 20 grand requires you to launch a higher level program or talk to people on the phone that you might not have spoken to before and do something different, that requires a new level of confidence. Kylie says, yes, exactly how I've been feeling the last couple of weeks. Yeah, awesome. Hey, Ria. So embrace this, yeah? Because what happens, like what I was talking about before, if we don't listen to these things, we push them down. We're like, oh, this is scary. I don't want to deal with this. We push it down and we don't move forwards. We don't take action and we don't grow. We actually pull back and we go backwards into old bad habits and old limiting beliefs. What happens when these things come up and you embrace it is you work through it. You're like, okay, why is this coming up? What's the trigger? What was my reaction to that trigger? What can I learn from this? Why is this actually a good thing? How is this going to help me grow? And then what actions do I need to take to move forwards? Okay, so ask yourself those questions. They are powerful questions. And when you do that, you don't push it down, you don't get scared, you don't stay stuck or stay in procrastination. You actually are able to grow and move forwards. So it took me a while, but now from the work that I've done on myself, all the personal development over the last 6 years, and even before that as well, I now embrace change. And I now notice quite quickly when these things come up, why they're coming up, and I'm able to work through them so that I can continue moving forwards. For example, some of you might have seen the journaling I did the other night, and I posted on my personal page. And when I actually did that journaling, and it literally took me 5 minutes to be able to get clarity, realize what was going through my head, get it down on paper or laptop, and work through it. And by the end of that 5 minutes of journaling, I had clarity. I wasn't overwhelmed anymore. I wasn't muddled. And within the next 2 days, I made $10,000 in new sales. So that is, like, your mindset is so powerful. If I was stuck in that crappy mindset and not willing to see what was going on and didn't do that journaling, I wouldn't have made those sales. Because you've got to grow, you've got to work on yourself, and you've got to show up to be able to bring more awesome people in and more awesome opportunities into your life in all areas of your life, not just your business. And so the way that you do this is through meditation and journaling. That's the two easiest ways. Because if you don't stop and just be, which is what meditation is, then you're just going, doing all the time instead of being. When you don't journal, all these thoughts are kind of fleeting thoughts rushing around in your head that you're not listening to, that you're not breaking down, and you're not realizing what's really going on, and then you can't get clarity. And so you need to do these two things to be able to figure out what it is you actually want and bring up these emotions, bring up this purpose, so that you can know what the next steps are to be able to move forwards. Does this make sense, guys? Just give me a comment or a like or a love. So I want to know, before I go, does anyone have any questions or comments on this or anything else? Awesome, thanks, Kylie. And what are you going to action from this, yeah? Because as I always say, it's one thing listening, watching these watching these live streams, listening to my podcasts, reading my posts, reading other people's stuff as well. But if you don't do anything with it, it's pointless, yeah? You could spend hours and hours watching these kinds of things. Hey, Michael, how you going? You can spend hours and hours watching and learning and whatever, but if you don't do anything with it, you're not going to grow, okay? So I'm just going to wrap it up, but let me know if you've got any comments or questions. Sorry, Michael, I know you've just jumped on. Anyone who's jumped on partway through or towards the end, make sure you go back and watch the start and let me know if you've got any questions or comments. Feel free to comment here, and I'll look back at it later, or send me a personal message anytime as well. James said, in jiu-jitsu we say, get comfortable being uncomfortable, then that's where the magic happens. Awesome, I love that. Exactly. It's like, some of you guys might have seen the post I did last night. I watched this ultra marathon documentary on Netflix. You should check it out, it's really good. Can't remember the name of it actually, but if you want it, I'll find it for you. And she did, through this crazy ass trail in Vermont, she did the equivalent of 10 marathons back to back. And the conditions weren't great. It had been raining, so it was slippery. There were steep downhill rocks that she had to go on through the night, ladder sections, like it was full on. And there were parts of it where she was crying. She was crying and she was like, I can't do it anymore. And she would go from crying to laughing to just like all this range of emotions. And like 10 marathons in a row is ridiculous. And it's like, you know, like what James just said, if we don't challenge ourselves and make ourselves uncomfortable, then we're not going to grow. And you don't have to do 10 marathons in a row or even one marathon to do that. But it could be some kind of physical challenge. It could be like it could be a marathon. It could be, yeah, I love, this is right by my house, Michael. It's beautiful here. It's like literally right next to my house. So it could be like, I did powerlifting competitions for 3 years. What else? Like, it could be something physical like that, climbing a mountain or something like that. Or it could be mental as well, yeah? Doing a live stream, doing a video, putting a free offer out there, speaking on stage, calling some leads. Like, you've got to do things that help you step outside your comfort zone. If you just do the easy things all the time, you're not going to grow. Morning. And this is what I call safe and unsafe activities. So safe activities in your business is just the things that you naturally do that feel easy. Yeah? So write down a list of the things that you just do without putting them off on a regular basis. And then look at your unsafe activities. What are the things that you've been putting off? And if you can do those unsafe activities on a regular basis, hey, even on a daily basis, then you're going to grow. Oh, my face is so red. It's really hot. And let me just wait for that to go past. Most people won't do that. So if you do the things that make you feel uncomfortable, if you do these things that make you grow, these unsafe activities, you are going to stand out from your competition because they're too scared to do that stuff. There's a bush turkey up there. I don't know if you guys can see. Where is it? Oh, it's hiding behind there. You're going to stand out from your competition because you're going to get those leads. You're going to get those sales that they're too scared to pick up the phone for. They're too scared to put that Facebook ad up for. They're too scared to share their story. If you're doing that, you're going to stand apart from the rest and you're going to get amazing results. Okay? Hey, Megan, how you going? So, sorry if you've jumped on towards the end of this, guys, but make sure you watch the start. I'm going to just give a little bit of a wrap up, but if you have any comments or questions, please post them now, because I'm going to head off in a sec. But as a wrap up, you need to listen to your intuition. Your intuition comes up when you're just being, not when you're doing. You got to stop medicating yourself with drugs and alcohol and food and sex and Netflix and procrastinating on Facebook and actually just stop for a moment and get in touch with what it is you really want in life, what your purpose is. You can do that through meditation and through journaling to realize what you really want. You've got to stop for a moment and listen to that voice in your head. Then your purpose comes up by doing your unsafe activities. Hey Moira, by doing your unsafe activities, the things that scare you, you will stand apart from the rest. You will grow stronger mentally and physically, and you will, didn't see any wallabies, but I think that's wallaby poo. You will grow stronger mentally and physically, and you will grow so much faster. You'll reach your goals so much faster, and you'll really be able to move forwards and have a life that most people wish they could have. Most people are going to stay stuck. Most people do nothing with this information. Most people don't listen to what they really want. And like I said before, they're in a shitty job that they hate. Their relationship's not good enough. They're not happy with themselves. They have no connection and relationship within themselves. And they're unhealthy. They're unhappy. They're in debt. Don't be that person. Listen to what you want. Be willing to bring the emotions up. Be willing to deal with them. Be willing to do the internal work so that you can grow. And one last thing, growth is going to be uncomfortable. Embrace that. If you're feeling uneasy, if you're having limiting beliefs come up, if you feel these things like instead of doing the work on yourself, you're like, oh, maybe I'll just look at my phone again. Notice when you're doing those things. And instead of just grabbing your phone or watching Netflix or doing the distraction things, actually sit with those feelings, work through them so that you can move forwards and embrace it. Know that those things are actually there to help you grow and help you move forwards. And this is going to make you stronger. So, does anyone have any questions or comments before I go? Kylie says, thank you, so relevant for me right now. Awesome. I'm glad. And this doesn't just happen once. This doesn't just happen when you're starting a business or when you're at the start of your journey. It still comes up for me now. Yeah? It's come up for me recently. And this is why I'm sharing it, because I share things that come up for me, but also that I see other people going through. And I am due, because I've worked through it, because I haven't pushed it down, I'm due to have my biggest month ever this month. I've made more, we're not even halfway through the month, and I've made more this month than I did last month, the month before already, halfway through the month. And that's because I listened. I got out of my own way. I worked on my mindset so that I could grow, and I am growing. And it's not just a money thing, it's a mental thing, it's a spiritual thing, it's a mindset thing, it's a health thing. I'm listening to my mind and my body in all areas so that I can grow. That's why I'm going to have my biggest month ever this month whilst working less. That's why I'm super connected and I can give you guys this message, because I listen to it and I work on myself. That's why I'm out for a walk now. That's why I've lost 4 kilos already in the last few weeks. Yeah? It's all areas. It's a holistic approach. Michael said, preach it. Just started writing business-related safe and unsafe activities down. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, that's a really, really powerful exercise. And then just keep adding to those lists, Michael. And if you can do one thing that scares you every day, you're going to grow every single day. Yeah, whether it's calling a lead, networking with a business, organizing a speaking thing, putting up a post on Facebook that scares you, doing a live stream, whatever it is, do one thing that scares you every day and you will grow rapidly. Awesome. Any other comments or questions, guys? I'm keeping my eye out for wallabies. It must be too hot. They're probably hiding in the shade. And for anyone who's a client that's on, we are going to have a client like fun day, whatever, soon, coming up in a few weeks, so we can walk through this path. We can do deadlifts at my house, and we're going to have a movie as well, so, and learn some business lessons from the movie or the show that we watch. So, you know, just a little bonus thing I'm adding in there, because, you know, that builds community as well. So think about ways that you guys can do that in your business too. So if anyone has any questions, pop them here if you're watching this afterwards as well, and or feel free to send me a personal message anytime. I have opened up the next round of Six Figure System. I've got 2 people signed up so far. Only just opened it up the other day. So if you want to have a chat about that, about making 6 figures or multiple 6 figures this year in your business, whilst having structure and systems and more time and freedom in your life, then let's have a chat. Just I'll pop a link here where you can book in a call with me, or feel free to just comment or send me a personal message at any time, and we can have a chat. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Thanks for jumping on. I'm going to get home, have some food and a shower, and head to the beach with my family. So have an awesome day. It's been great chatting to you all, and I will talk to you soon.